Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. It's Tanya here. Hopefully a few of you can join me. Sorry I couldn't do the class yesterday. Internet, oh my goodness. Actually, I need my eyes. I might just flip it around. I am so freaking hot. I've just had dinner. Oh, hi Marion. All right, I'm just going to flip the camera around. Hi Carol. And hope that I've got it positioned. What happened there? You're looking at my ceiling. Hope that I've got it positioned okay because I've just moved the table. So not too bad, Mama. All right. Oh, that's my... Hi, Jill. Hi, Linda. I'll just wait for a couple more. I should go and bring my fan over. Oh. No aircon on in here tonight, so that's all right. How's everybody doing for this Monday? Oh, I'm still waiting on my order, but that's okay. Patience is a virtue, or so they say. All right, what time is it? Like 3 minutes past. It's time to get rolling. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to show you something today. And on Saturday night I indicated that I was working on a bonus layout. So I'm going to show you why it's a bonus layout in a second. I'm just going to flip my iPad on so that I can see any comments pop up. Oh, that's a shocking face. What are you doing for this Monday? Oh, I better turn the volume down. Volume's down. See if there's... Wishing it was Friday already. Hi, Andrea. Alrighty. So, what I'm going to start off with, I showed you on card night that I thought I'd have a go at a layout with the plain, and I'm going to tell you why. It's in the book. Not that part of the book. So this catalogue finishes at the end of this week. So if there's anything in this book that you want, you need to let me know because it will be gone. Bye-bye. Done. Okay, this layout here. I said I was going to do that. So I think this is possibly a 6x6 layout. But I've made it into a 12x12 layout. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you the bonus layout. All right, so the paper that I've used is the Seize the Day paper. The stamps that I've used for this one was the plain one, which was Let Your Dreams Take Flight or whatever it was. Stampin' Thin Cuts. So this is layout 1. I got it on layout 1 for the first time, straight up tonight. That was a conscious decision, let me tell you. And then I've got layout 2. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to see all that, but we'll get close. So I've got layout 1 and layout 2. Now, I'm a bit of a fiend when it comes to wood grain paper. I love to collect it. I don't like to use it. And when I do use it, I use it sparingly because I might want it for something else because it's so, so pretty. Okay, so this is where the bonus layout comes in. So I've got, basically it looks like I've got a wooden frame. So what I did, I cut out the back. And if you have a look, it's an oblong sort of shape. And yes, if you have a look too, I've got sticky everywhere because I just went madly like a loon and put tape everywhere, but that's all right. So I'm going to show you the cut for that and then we'll go through. I'm going to show you some special colouring. I know you're probably sick of colouring, but this stamp set just leads to colouring. I am really proud of how these clouds turned out. They are fluffy and delicious. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm not going to put you through everything because I've done a lot of the pre-work. I'm just going to show you a couple. I'm not even going to put you through the cutting. You can see my birdies there too. They're cute as. I struggled with the title. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with Life is a Grand Adventure. I've got some stitching on this page. I've got some stamping. I've got base stamping, some more stitching up the top. So I'm going to take you through that. And if the table's wobbling, because it keeps hitting my belly. Same on this side. I've just got more stitching. I've got a little bit of background stamping. I've got that stamping there, some base stamping of clouds, and then there's other clouds and birds. I've accented with sequins. So the sequins come in a little baggie and I put them in a little box. There's about 18 of those, and I'll tell you the counts as I go through. But anyway, I'm going to take you through the bits that I've got cut up already. So I'm just going to pop that to the side. Okay, so I've got 2 zip strips. The 2 zip strips that were on this wood grain paper were not on, these weren't the zip strips that are on it. The zip strips were actually on another sheet that is a smoothie sorbet colour. But I have used the zip strips off this sheet on my next layer, so that's okay. So I've got 2 zip strips there, and they are 1/2 inch by 9.5. I've got 4 photo mats, so I've gone for a 5x7 photo mat, which is the white size. I've gone for a 6x4, a 4x4, and a 3x4. The sangria, which is the ready colour, they're all a 1/4 inch bigger than what my white photo mats are. So that'll just give a 1/8 of an inch border around. So that is my photo mats. I'm going to sit them to the side. I probably shouldn't sit them on my trimmer. Okay, you'll see that I have done some background stamping already on this page. So I've stamped my clouds, I've stamped my birds, I've stamped my sentiment, I've done my stitching top and bottom, and I've done this stamping here. I'm going to show you how to do this on the next page. So that'll be after I do my cutting. And so this is when we go for there. I've already cut my Carolina blue, which is 2 lots of 9 3/4 by 10 3/4. So then this sheet of paper here, the white, is 9.5 by 10.5. So it'll just have an 1/8 of an inch border around the outside as well. So I'm going to put those to the side, but not this one. So we've got our 2 base sheets. So one solid and one I've cut. So this is what we're going to aim for. So at the moment I've got an inch border on 3 sides and a 2-inch border on the other. So that's what I'm going to cut now. So I have to also, whoops, something to keep in mind, I want my cardstock running the same way so that I'm not going to end up with one vertical and one horizontal. So I just need to keep that in mind when I do my cutting. You know me, I like to use my trimmer upside down. Okay, the easiest way that I like to do, I tend to work this way with the smaller edge and the bigger bit hanging out. I'm going to use the edge on my ruler. So all our Fiskars trimmers have got a ruler there, and that's where I'm going to position my blade, and I'm going to push from 1 inch down to 11 inches. This is positioned on 2 inches, and I'm going to start at 1 inch in. So the little bump there on your Fiskars trimmer, that is where the blade points to. So I'm going to go, that's cut 1. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and I'm going to position it on 1 inch. And this side, because we're starting with the 2-inch side here, I've got to start at 2 inches rather than 1 inch. So then I'm going to cut from 1 inch to 11 inches, turn it another 90 degrees, put it on 1 inch. Now I'm trying this time frame because there's a few of us that like to watch MasterChef or Survivor, or I know I'm probably eating into home and away time, but anyway, you might be able to catch it up at lunchtime. I can't. Alright, so I've just cut another 1 inch, and then this one here I'm going to cut from the 1 inch up to 10 inches, because remember we've got 2 inches at the other end. And then I didn't cut all the way through, but that's okay. It's only a smidge of a snip, but you don't want to rip it. That's one. It's so close, it's not funny. Okay, so that piece I'm going to set aside for layer number 2. Now I'm not going to take you all the way through layer number 2, I'm just going to give you the basics. That should be all the cutting we've got to do. So I've got 2 frames there and they are running the same way and it's all wonderful. Okay, next I'm going to do the stitching. So I'm going to finish the stitching on this one. Now on my measurement, so this stitch line is 1/4 inch up from the bottom, and then I've got a ruled pencil line here. I'm not sure if you can see it. The ruled pencil line is 1.5 inches up from the bottom. Yeah, that's going to be my guide for my the scalloped blacks, the scalloped black stamping that I'm going to do. I'm just going to position this piece of paper upside down. You know me, I like to work upside down. I'm using my old CTMH grid and stitch guide because it's got good, I can see through it and measure out 1/4 inch, and each stitch line I'm going to have is 1/4 inch wide. So I'm going to start 1/8 inch in and I'm just going to stitch. You could stitch it with your sewing machine if you wanted a bit of extra texture. I just wanted to do a bit of pen work. I'm using a 0.03 mil pen. We have them in our range. You could have them in your supplies. They make quite a nice journaling pen, these. We have them in black and pewter. They do fit in your Cricut. How's everybody going? Everybody's all good? Okay, so that's my stitch line. Done. See, you didn't have to sit through 4 lots of that. Okay, I'm going back to the right way up. And remember every week I talk to you about intense black and black. Well, because I'm not colouring in, I'm going to be using black rather than intense black. I'm going to ink up my stamp. These border stamps can be tricky, so that's why I recommend you draw a line, and I have a feeling I might have just stamped myself on the face. Alright, my little trick, I like to throw the stamp down onto my mat and get it lined up and then pick it up with my block, but I had that preloaded and I've talked too long, so I better re-ink. I've got my line and I'm actually going to grab my line and sit the bottom edge of the stamp down, and then I'm going to stamp it along the line. I sort of get an anchor point. So that's one. You don't have to press hard. And number 2 will go off the page, and it's going to be the same process. I'm going to butt it up, have a look, and then hope that I get it straight. It's pretty straight. Alright, I've shouted myself a new stamp chamois this week. Amazing. Alright, next I'm going to do some stamping. Now, I'm going against everything I've taught you about clouds and colouring and everything. The clouds that I've done on these, I've actually used charcoal ink. I've been very careful when I colour in not to put the alcohol markers over the top. And I can show you why. It will make them go green. But I'll show you on a scrap piece. Right, I just need my layout just to show me where I've got to go. Right, I'm just working with the big cloud. If I have a look, actually I should have done the little cloud as well, but that's okay. I've done that about 1/2 inch in from the bottom, and then I've done it about 1.5 inches up from that stamp stitch line that we've just done. You don't have to do it exactly, but you know, I'm trying to replicate. So I'm just going to stamp that up here. Whoops. I am going to grab the other cloud. If anybody's got any questions, I've got my iPad set up. I should be able to see comments. I'm just going to second generation the other cloud. He's just in there. And get rid of him. Oh, I've still got another cloud to stamp up the top, I think. No, that's it. So that's good. Right. Next, I'm going to stamp my birdies, and I'm just going to stamp them in black in first and second generation. Where I'm stamping my birds, I've got a cloud, and I'm just going to position that, because like last week, I'm not going to assemble the layout because I've already done one of these, but it'll be fine. So I'm just going to pop one lot of birds there and then a second gen stamp there. That's it. There's also a set of birds down here next to this little second generation cloud. That's them. Getting black from somewhere. Okay. All right. So to assemble this page, which is where we mostly are up to, I've got a strip of 9.5 by 1/8 of an inch glitter, silver glitter. I've got my zip strip like that. I'll go digging for my 5 by 7 photo mat. So it's going to go on there up a bit. It doesn't go over. I've pre-stamped this little rectangle or little title box. You can do some journaling on that. That's on this stamp set. I've popped that down here with a big cloud tucked behind it. And then I've got another cloud. I actually think I stamped another cloud down there on the bottom. I did. That's all right, I'll go back to that. Or I'll stick it on there. But yeah, there's another cloud down there. You could probably just stick it in. No, I didn't. I'm looking at the wrong layout. My goodness. Who's laughing at me now? Stop it. What a muppet. All right. Start again, Tanya. All right, so I did have the sangria most of the way down the bottom here. Just kissing the zip strip. The plane I've 3D'd and just put it launching itself over the clouds. I've put a baby cloud and some sequins down the bottom here. Up the top here I've put a little cloud, sort of tucked in under, and then I've tucked 1 and 2. Depends on where your birdies are as to where you can put your clouds. There. I've stamped Life is a Grand Adventure about halfway up using black ink. And in a second I'll show you how I coloured in the clouds. I might need to stand up over this. I hope for the best. Life is a Grand Adventure. I'm going to pop the lid back on. And then just to finish it off, you know the other day we used the little swirlies like as a jet stream behind the plane? Well, today I'm going to use it above the title and below the title, and I've just head-butted the camera. All right. So I've just put little swirlies up on top just to, I didn't feel that the title was very big, so I was just trying to make it look a bit bigger, Essentially, that's it for that page, apart from throw a few sequins on there, stick it to the back of the blue because that makes it pop, and then stick it to your layout. Now, if you were to order a kit of this, I would give you just a little bag, a scoop of sequins, and you will do your best to pick your way through and work out what you want. But how I stuck my sequins on, I just had, look at that, I had my liquid glass, and I just put a dot on the page, and then I drop one of my sequins on there, and they stick perfectly fine. So just imagine sequins, okay? Now, before I move on to the next page, so this is essentially page 1. So I'll take you back to how it should look. Okay, good, happy? So clouds, 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 little birdies. Make a lovely boys page. We don't do enough of those. Oh, and I'm taking bits away with me as I go. I'm going to grab my sequins. Now the sequins do have little stars and whatnot in them. I'm going to show you the colouring twice, okay? So I've got my tri-blends. I chose the ice grey blend. I'm just going to put this to the side. Now I started with the mid, and basically on the mid I just went just above the rolly cloud bits. If that makes any sense at all. I'm going to redo this anyway if you miss it. And then I've just put a few little bits, and I probably shouldn't be colouring that with that on the bottom. And then for the clouds, well, I've got a shadow. For the clouds, I'm going to do some circular motions, taking care not to go over the charcoal lines too much. Now, it doesn't matter if a bit of white pokes through your charcoal, through your colouring, the grey colouring, because that's just going to add to the effect. Right, so that's one. Now I'm going to take my colourless blender, so you can use a fine tip or the chisel tip, and then I'm going to go over that and take some colour out. So I actually like to use the chisel tip, and I'm just going to rub some circular motions in some parts, not all of it, maybe 3/4 of it, and just pull a little bit of colour back out of that. And then I'll set it aside and I'll show you, because it develops. Right, I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to go again, because I'll show you on as if it's like these little guys. So, grab my mid. I think the dark's too dark for what I'm doing. I don't want it too stormy. And so I'm using the lighter colour to pull a bit of the darker colour out as well. So I'm paying particular attention to go over where I put the darker, the mid colour, just to help blend it in. And again, look at the difference in those two. And I've coloured using exactly the same pens, but these ones I haven't put the colourless blender over. And if you're unsure, like if you think it's getting dirty, just draw a few lines on your paper. You can hear me colouring with purpose, can't you? Right, I'm going to let that sit and we'll come back to that one. All right, I'm just going to quickly take you through the assembly of page 2. If I can find it, it's here. Okay, so I've already done the stamping. I've just got to put my photo mats on. Now the 6x4 I stuck straight down. I didn't put any foam behind it. So that's the 6x4. The 4x4 I did with, I just overlapped it a little bit. And I stuck it on with the thinner of the 3D foam tape. And then the 3x4 I stuck on with the thick foam tape, just to give you a little bit of dimension through each. Again, I've used 3D foam behind my clouds. That one there should be coloured, and that one there as well. This is when we put our little what's it on. We might need to go up a bit higher. I've tucked a little cloud in behind there. I think it's really cute. And then I've got 2 clouds left for up the top here. Finished off with 3D foam, not 3D foam, sequins. And essentially you're done. Now I know it's super easy, but I thought you might want a super easy one. But it's super cute. And I'm showing you how to be tight with your paper. So this is that's what page 2 is meant to look like. Everybody got that? Happy? Ready to move on? Give me a heart or a thumbs up if you're ready for me to move on. Are you still there? Hello? Oh dear. It's Monday. We're all a bit slow. All right, I'm just going to move these ones out to the road. Now, I'm not sure I'm 100% okay with this layout, but that's okay. So we should have 2 pieces left that are like that. But I'm going to show you what I made with it. So this is layout 1. And the little shells are what I'm not sure about, but that's okay. I know what I forgot. So a couple of different things here. So I've used the message in a bottle from, I don't even know where it is. Oh, this one. This stamp set is called Seize the Day Card Making. Look at that, I've used it on a scrapbook page. So it's got thin cuts as well. So it's got the bottle, it's got the message. It's got a, what's it called, north, south, east, west sign. It's got some birds and some shells. So if I put this on there, that's the sets that that's the stamps that come with it. So I've done the message in a bottle, which I'll show you the colouring for in a second. See this technique up the top? Look at that title. So that is with the new thin cuts, which I think, yes, there they are, the classic alphabet thin cuts. Now don't fall over when I tell you how much. They are a huge set. They're $158 and you get all 26 letters plus ampersand, comma and a full stop, and then you get the numbers as well. So they're pretty cool. It was the first time I've used mine. Mine got here, I don't know, last week or Monday or whenever. But this really cool technique, I'm going to show you that. And if you have a look, My piece of paper is that big, but I've got, because that's the back, double dipped. Awesome. So little shells, I've used some smoothie cardstock. I've called it Beach Days. I've done a double layout with this. So I've got the days on the bottom. Really simple. I haven't used any real embellishments. I really wanted the photos to be the thing, but I've coloured my own twine there using an ink pad. So I'm just going to run you through the title and this. And I should have a look at my instructions of what I cut it as, because I've been writing notes. Okay, so the piece that I had, this piece here should be 9 by 10. And I'm going to cut it off at 2.5 along the longest edge. And I better make sure, yeah. So then that will go on the page like that. I've used mink cardstock for my base. And look at this pile of stuff that I've got cut here. Oh my goodness. So these will be positioned 1.5 inches up from the end. I've cut some 1/4 inch strips of smoothie, and they are 1/4 by 9. That will just go in there. I just think it frames it up nicely. I've got my photo mats here. So on this page I opted for 2 4x6s sideways, because a lot of people take their photos sideways. Alright, I'm going to do the same. Oh, hang on, I'll just pile this off. Oh, look, there's my zip strips. I'm going to do the same for this page. I'm going to flip it. So as I said, the base is linen. It's a little bit less creamy than French vanilla, but it's quite nice. It's one of my favourites to use as a base. Again, I've gone a crossways, horizontal photo mat, and I've either forgotten to cut the others, or I don't even know what's happened there. I haven't put the whites in. Alright, I've got a piece there for that one, but I've got a smaller one here, which if you have a look, this is sort of intended journal box. I didn't mat it, and I've just done a little bit of pen work. I've stamped on the corner and then just freehand drawn that. I will show you that in a sec. So zip strips, just use those 2 zip strips straight across the bottom, just to keep everything in line. Easy as. Right, I'll move that one to the side. This one here, remember we did some journaling, or did journal boxes in one of the classes last year. Oops. So that's basically what this is. So just done a shell in one colour. So I've used sapphire and smoothie. Just going to use the same block, just the opposite side. I'm going to show you the colouring technique that I've used for these. So again, oh, hang on, I'll draw my line and then I'll do the colouring technique. I chose just to do a few little crosses. You could do dots, you could do whatever you like. They don't have to be straight lines. They can be wiggly lines. Alright, so I'm going to show you the colouring technique. So I've pre-stamped These, and they do have a little thin cut through them, so you would wind them through and cut them, or if you were a fussy cutting fiend, you could go your hardest. Now you could either use a block like we've done previously and squeeze a little bit of shimmer on there. I'm just going to do it in the lid and then wipe it out with my chamois. I've just squeezed a little bit of shimmer brush into my lid, and basically it's almost like a quick watercolor. So I'm just going to test it there, pick up a bit more, and I'm not going to color to the edges. I want a little bit of white showing through. It's as easy as that. Just do it like you're painting. The reason I use these colours was because it matches the paper. You could use things that are a bit more natural if you wanted to. But as I said, these were the bits that I wasn't sure I was happy with. That's okay. Not everything has to be a masterpiece. So, I don't know if you just watched me then, but I sort of cleaned my brush. I've gone to the blue now. And then I would go and thin cut these all out. Having the magnetic plate makes it a lot easier to wind little things like this through. I can't remember if I need about 18. See how cute they look? I think they look pretty good, just like half coloured. Right, so I'm going to clean off the brush. Yeah, look at that. So obviously I'm going to have to go and wash this chamois when I'm done. A little sparkle never hurt anybody. Alright, so next I'm going to show you the bottle. The bottle again, you can cut out with your thin cut. I just use my ice grey again on the funny bits of the bottle, and just the edges of the parchment paper. There's a brown grey you could use as well. You could possibly use a skin tone. It all settles. It looks kind of funny when you do it the first time, but it will settle. And again, I'm just going to hit it lightly, not touching the lines because I just use regular black with the colourless blender. I'm having a bit of trouble with shadow tonight. I don't know what's going on. Now to do the cork, I used the Earth Brown blend, and again I'm going to do the darker bits with first, and then I'm going to use the light end just to go over and blend it. Got a bit. Okay, that's the bottle. Just bear with me, I need to get my smoothie. that wasn't as painful as what I thought. Now, I tied a bow on my bottle after it was cut, obviously. I've coloured it with the, where are my scissors? Just with the ink pad. Clean up my mess. All I did, and I'm getting inky, I know, I love it, is run the twine, the white twine, over until I got the colour I wanted. You can do the whole lot, you can do a smidge, you can make it look rustic if you wanted to, it's entirely up to you. Now, I would let that dry just for a little few minutes. But if you're willing to risk it, go ahead. So I just wrapped it around and then did my little bow on there as well. But see, there's a bit of ink coming out of that. Just going to clean my fingies off before I touch anything else because I'll turn it all orange. So yeah, you are better off to let it dry for a bit. Oh, okay, last thing that I'm going to show you is the lettering. Before I forget completely, have a look at these clouds. Can you see where the colourless blender has done its thing and sort of soaked in and pulled out the colour of the grey and made them sort of fluffy looking? I think they look pretty good. Sort of not focusing very well, is it? Okay, so sorry, off topic. So I've cut out beach days in 3 colours. Now you can do this in any order that you like. In the kit you will get the full 3 sets to do this. Now my first one I had blue as my base, followed by orange, then by white. This time I might do blue, I might do orange on the bottom, white then blue. So basically, so you could do it a couple of ways. You could rip your paper and then you could cut out your letters. I wouldn't recommend putting all 3 layers of the letters together or all 3 layers of the paper together. It would just be too much for your thin cuts to handle. But I'm gonna, at about 2/3 of the way through, I'm just gonna tear straight across. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's not a masterpiece. Everybody's got a little bit of a phobia about tearing. Don't be scared. It's tearing. All right, the next one I'm gonna do is the blue, and I'm gonna do that at about, your best bet though, sorry. I'm gonna do that as about 1/3, but with the tearing, put your thumb on it and pull the paper towards you. That way you're gonna get that nice white edge that we want. So I'll do this a couple of times for you. I'm not gonna make you sit through all of the beach days. The H was a little bit tricky. You've got to make sure you've got him up the right way because he's not symmetrical. He's got a bigger cutout down the bottom. What am I looking for? An orange one. Come out, wherever you are. Okay, so we've gone orange on the bottom. So again, I'm just going to rip him off above the cross of the H. And then this one I'm going to rip him off just below. And I've torn him the wrong way. See, I do it too. And it's always when you've got an audience. Goodness me, it's 7:45. Are you still hanging with me? Okay. So you get it? I'll do one more. So the E, it's a bit tricky. Who forgot to tell me? White. So I got 2 double layouts out of 2 sheets of patterned cardstock. They look completely different. But pretty all the same. So, there's my letters. How cool are they? It's a nice little effect. So going back, this was the layout. So that was page 1. Page 2. Done. Right, I'm just going to have a look, see if anybody's got any questions. Wait, what am I doing? No questions that I can see. Thanks, Narelle. It is a very cool technique, and I think they featured it in the catalogue in one of the Workshop Your Way kits, or even on the front page. Look at that. They've used sort of an ombre technique, so it's gone white, like a mint, and then the other side a mint, a bit more of the mint, and then sapphire both sides. So that is very nice. But yeah, don't forget, this book finishes on Thursday. Thursday, is that the 30th? It is. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope to have something exciting for you on Wednesday night. Internet problems are solved. Yeah. Be good. Thanks.